Hello and welcome back to Sports for Dummies. In today's episode, we're going to talk all things trade week, the mega deals that occurred, what it means for each and every side. And Johnny, the face of the Blues. Let's start right there. What was your initial thoughts? Curnow up to the Swans.
I think it was good. He was going. There's multiple reasons why I think he had to go. It's not a bad thing. I know initially a lot of Carlton supporters are going to be angry because, he is a really good player and he's won 2 Colemans, but the guy's had 6 surgeries in like 6 years and he wanted to go. So we didn't want another mistake of like Melbourne had with Clayton Oliver. May as well get rid of him now while this is probably his last of his prime years. Get rid of him now. We will get Hayward, 3 top picks for it. All of a sudden, Carlton's forward line now structurally is looking really good. We've got Hayward as a medium forward who's an awkward matchup. He kicks goals. Ainsworth as that high half forward that we've been desperately looking out for. It's going to force us. It's a new look Carlton forward line. I'm very happy with this. And I think it's win-win for Sydney too because their business model is, Jamie, and you know this because you actually saw a lot of these eras because you're that old. They've always had a key forward since Warwick Kappa, into Lockett, into Barry Hall, into Franklin. It is Sydney's big business model to have a key forward at the club.
So you're happy with Curnow going?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Well, I think the 2026 calendar for Carlton still has Curnow as the face.
Oh, what would be bad? There would be a lot of young fans where Curnow is probably our most popular player. And I can see on paper why people who just naturally will think that's a bad move. But let's be honest, the game, I look at Brisbane in 2024, their 2 key forwards did not play in 2025. We play a small ball game now where key forwards are not saying they're not important, but it is not the 90s or the early 2000s where they control the game. It is a very small ball game, and this is and also a problem with Carlton. We're constantly bombing it. This gives us new looks, and it's going to force us to play a different brand of football. I like it.
You like it?
I was only joking, Johnny, but I agree. I think Curnow's trade out is a smart move for Carlton. Look, the balance up front for Carlton for so many years is you've failed in that fleet. The players that can actually roll up and return on the transition game and hit the scoreboard. So, look, Geelong offering 3 first-round draft picks. So, as a Geelong supporter, I'm glad that didn't happen. That was just going to be an absolute waste. Look, I think it's a great move for Carlton. Florent, Hayward, Ainsworth, look, they're B-grade players, but the big challenge for Carlton is can they genuinely turn them into, A-grade performers? That's going to be the big question because they've been okay contributors, the 2 players from Sydney. They need to really step it up. Let's say.
But I guess having, to your point, I'm talking about more Hayward and Ainsworth now who are B performers. The problem with Carlton's small fleet is they're D-grade performers. We haven't even had B. The only good performer we had as a small forward was Owies. Who's the rest? What we've had? Durden, Motlop. They're fucking D-graders. I'm very happy with at least a B-grade performance.
I think you're rough on Motlop. I think he's a genuine A-grader.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right, we're going to go through chronologically. What do you want to add to that, JB?
No, look, in summary, I think it was a great move by Carlton. I mean, Curnow's, like, it's really interesting the amount of picks that they needed to give up to get Curnow. I mean, he's 28. I mean, yeah, he's got another good 4 to 5 years in front of him, but yeah, it was a good move.
All right, we're going to go through the trade period. We'll go from start to finish, what occurred from October 7th. Carlton received Liam Reedy, pick 53 and 71. Fremantle received picks 50 and 68. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, he's a ruckman at Fremantle. Obviously, he wasn't getting much time into it because you've got Jackson and Sean Darcy. So,
the 2, yeah.
I mean, ruckmans take a long time to develop, and it's not unheard of for a ruckman to leave a club, gets all his development somewhere else. I'm happy with that. Carlton have shown we haven't been very good at developing players. So, well, let's see. Does he challenge Pitnet? I don't know.
We're going to go through everyone. Just jump in. as soon as if I say it. And you know
every
the player.
single trade.
Yep, every single trade. If you don't know, I just want to let the viewers know of I didn't know of majority of these as well. Sydney received Malcolm Rosas Jr. and pick 62. Gold Coast receives pick 51 and 69. Then there was a three-way trade. West Coast received Brandon Starcevic from he was Brizzy, wasn't he?
It was Brisbane.
Yeah, Brazil.
Yep. And picks 12, 33, 52. Brisbane received picks 16, 22, 44, 50. Fremantle received picks 19, 23, 46. That's a big move.
Brisbane just have to offload something. They've got new players coming in. Starcevic was a good servant for him, and I'm guessing he just wanted to go home.
Yeah. Then we had Fremantle received Judd McVie. Melbourne received pick 23. St Kilda received Sam Flanders. That's a good pickup for them. And Gold Coast received pick 7. Gold Coast have incredible picks this trade period. Melbourne received...
Well, that pick 7's gone.
Yeah, they just... for
Well, let's stop there. Gold Coast, Petrarca, that's a huge win for them. They're a challenge inside to the top four. We know that. Truck just is going to offer that additional weight through the midfield, but we know what he can produce up front as well. What they've lost, Sam Flanders, that high up half forward.
They've lost a bit of depth players now.
Ferrioni, so they're three players that were in their starting 22, but, they enter the draft with pick 15, 18, 24, 28, 29, 36. So I've got no doubt Hardwick and the recruiters, you watch Gold Coast go and bring in the best talented small forwards in the country through this trade period. We saw what Hardwick, was able to do at Richmond, and how many small forwards did they recruit in. And typically, high draft picks are key forwards, midfielders, and so you can pick up these quality forwards.
Because the other clubs aren't looking for them.
They're not looking for them. So, yeah, they've been very selective, and I reckon Hardwick's going to want that real genuine pace in around, now their key forward. It's going to be interesting to see Jamara, how he's going to perform.
Jeez, what a drop. So he was going to be on $900,000 this year, and because of his actions, he's on, I think, $2 to $250. That was an expensive year.
Look, is it going to work? Look, I'm not too sure. I mean, there was footage of him playing on social media. He blew out a fair bit.
He's had an extended
he's gonna
break. But if anyone could bring him back into shape, because he was playing bloody good football, and that's why he got the deal from the Dogs, it's Damien Hardwick. Would you? I think they've got him for pretty much nothing. You've now put Petrarca in, who at his best he's like a Dangerfield, Dusty Martin type, and he's a Petrarca type. For 2 years he was the best player in the league. They are now pushing. They are that much closer. They've got another one thing for them. They've got another. Their forward line looks very potent. This is looking very potent. If he gets into form, I reckon it's a big win for them. Pushing to the final.
It's the big question is can his off field? Can he change his behaviours off field? If he genuinely can change his behaviours off field, it's going to be a huge win for Hardwick. They gave up nothing. You've mentioned the low salary he's on. Jamara,
and they can fire him whenever they want to.
Yep, they've got that clause in the contract. So Jamara, that year, the last year at the Bulldogs, he was sensational. He's a super talent. Let's hope that he can.
And players, it's not done now, but he's pretty much on an incentive contract that if he does well, does all the right things, he's going to get rewarded for it.
Yeah,
I think in life, I reckon we'll see the best from him because he has to make it work. So I reckon we actually will see and with the coach, I reckon, and the delivery that he's going to get.
So you're a bit more positive with Jamara than Bailey Smith last year?
Yes. And I don't think I am.
Okay.
Do you reckon though for Gold Coast though, because you got Lukosius and King up forward already?
No, Lukosius is
he's halfback. He's just halfback, isn't he?
No, he got traded to Port.
Did he get traded to Port
last year? Lukosius.
Oh, Lukosius. Sorry, I was thinking someone completely different.
Okay, that's very interesting. That point makes no sense.
It's another forward line for them. So what they've got King, Long now. Long had a sensational last 2 years. Add Hagen into it. They've got a good midfield.
And then Track, who's probably going to spend 70% up front.
100%. He's going to play. I reckon he's going to play that dusty role. I reckon he's just going to go where
100%.
He's just going to go where he needs to insert himself.
I think when Matty Rowell comes off and has a break, Track will insert himself in the midfield, but he'll predominantly play in the forward line.
And then inject himself in the middle when need be. Hardwick would have seen Danger's prelim and he's like, we're just going to do the exact same with this from this guy. We're not going to let him tire himself out during the year, but when we need to, we know he can just insert himself.
Yep.
Which single deal helps the club for the 2026 flag race? Curnow to the Swans, Melbourne getting rid of Petrarca and Gold Coast picking him up, or what about Oliver going to GWS?
It's Petrarca by a landslide.
Track.
Okay. And did Carlton win the trade long term with the two future firsts, Hayward? We actually got
we won that. I think we did. I think, again, immediate people who, it's amazing seeing people talk that don't actually understand what's going on. They just think we lost Curnow. He's an A grader. They don't know the structures and the game plan. I think long term this is good for Carlton. And it's the first time in a long time we actually participated well at trade period.
It's unlike it. It's unlike the Bombers.
That was an interesting one.
How was the Merritt's manager just cracking the...
That is hilarious footage.
Oh, I think, you know what? Merritt and Marshall, both clubs held firm in the trade, and it's interesting because, the rich clubs get richer and, Geelong Hawthorn, very much an attractive traction-based club. And you look at what Hawthorn's done in the last 2 years over trade, they have absolutely nailed it. But they would be absolutely disappointed with not landing Merritt. I know Warple's obviously gone to Geelong, but it's a bit of a gap now for them. They really needed Merritt. That was their key to try and take them that next step. And, we know Mitchell demands excellence. He wants that premiership, but Merritt's that's definitely cost Hawthorn. So they're going to have to look into, now look at, Cam McKenzie, who's a mini Sammy Mitchell, as that Warple replacement.
And they need Will Day more than ever to not get injured.
And Will Day, we know the talent he is, but he just has to get on the park.
Has to, more important than ever, because you're right, they were sort of happy to get rid of Warple, who I think is really depth for their midfield. I think he's very good. You allow that because you're going to get Merritt. Now your midfield just got weaker.
Yeah. And look at the contracts. This is really going to change the way, players signing long-term deals.
I think it's gross. This has been horrible. Clubs like Geelong, Hawthorn, Gold Coast, all don't worry about free agency. You guys have just looked at all the shit clubs, the Carltons, the Essendons, the Melbournes. We're just going to take all your talent. So the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
Well, I think players are going to be more strategic now, not sign the 5-7 year deals and be locked into a club, because we know things can turn around pretty quick and to the worst.
But they do it for the money, and the AFL money isn't enough. That I don't see them not taking the long deal, because AFL money ain't enough.
Well, I think player managers will now look at Milera, 2-year contract. Like,
he was smart.
Michael Jordan. Look at the Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, I get it.
Secured that long contract. He was. I mean, we're not talking NBA here, but this is actually really going to change the way player managers look at long-term deals, and they're probably going to start putting clauses in that they can potentially nominate a club. I'm not sure how that's going to work, because at the end of the day, they need to make the trade work. But Merritt and Marshall, and I look at the stance on St Kilda and Essendon. Why trade these guys? They're only going to make Geelong and Hawthorn even more powerful. And I'll look at what St Kilda, and to me, St Kilda are the big winners in this trade period.
We'll see about that.
Well, outside Gold Coast, and we'll talk about that. But players are certainly not going to be signing long-term deals from here.
I think it was a good move by Essendon as well. Kind of dug the heels in, said what they said they were going to do.
For most, you can argue both. So I think for the good of the game, Essendon standing their ground, and there's actually a hatred between Essendon and Hawthorn that I think there was a bit of fuck you guys. But
100%. And also Saints on Geelong because
correct.
You know, it's going to be funny when we come up against them. I think we're going to verse them pretty early.
So from a balls perspective, I actually really liked it. However, I think you talk Essendon say they do it for the culture. They've got a captain who's literally just cried for the last 3 weeks about how hard his life is and blah, 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 blah. You also going into a Tassie deal.
Yep.
Tassie coming in. This is a club that's going to rebuild. No, for all intents and purposes, I would have done what Carlton did with Sydney, and I would have just clawed Hawthorn's eyes out.
But that deal that they offered,
Johnny, I'm with you. 100%.
You can act, or are you acting pride, or
I'm taking. There's no doubt the hatred between Essendon and Hawthorn's there, and you've got a player that doesn't want to be there, and he's given great service, 6-time B&F winner. Where Essendon are at in their premiership race, they're not going to win a flag in the next 3 to 5 years. No. So let's look at the next 3 years. Trade him out. The guy's over 30 now. Bring in the picks and rebuild. I think it was if
Tassie wasn't here, you could probably stand on, supporting the club and culture. But Tassie come in, this could hurt Essendon for a long time.
It's definitely the worst move by Essendon. I don't mind the stance. I don't agree
in principle.
When a player's contracted, they shouldn't just be able to just get out of that contract and ask where they want to be. And Merritt, they renegotiated his contract twice and paid him more. So I think, So I would have taken
the best clubs. The captain has taken less, not more. So, and he did this bullshit speech at his best and fairest that he's actually more about team success. No, he's not about individual. That literally told me you're probably the most selfish footballer in the league. In saying that, fuck Hawthorn. So I did like it from the Bombers. I don't like the Hawks.
I think, you look at, they needed Merritt.
Yep.
They 100% wanted and needed Merritt to win that flag next year. I mean, they're still going to be a top 4, but geez, that's a big loss by them.
I really don't mind it. I don't think what we were getting offered, it's very different to what you guys got for Kerno. And now I know Kerno's a two-time Coleman. He's your star. He's your face. He's no different though. Merritt's our only A-grade footballer in that list. So I think it's actually not a bad move that we've held back what they offered. They didn't offer any, there wasn't a talent or player. And this year's draft, I don't reckon is as good as the last few years. So it's like, okay, is it probably a smart move?
But do you know what? The biggest Josh, on that, the biggest bargain for me was Jack Steele. Now,
yeah, that's a good one.
Go and trade Merritt to Hawthorn. Go and load up your picks for the next 3 years. Bring in someone like Jack Steele, who
for development to help the young kids.
But also, he's from a character. He's a great. And you look at what Melbourne. The reason why Melbourne got rid of Oliver, they bring in Jack Steele. It's just
Well, look at the character difference.
Yeah, and
and he's been booted out.
And Stephen King and Geelong's mantra, they will pick players based on good character. Bailey Smith, that was an exception.
The culture's starting to rock with the Stengels and the Bailey Smiths.
Hey, Stengel's fine, but when they recruit, they really look at the character. But yeah, Essendon, trade out Merritt, get the picks, and I would have done everything to try and get Jack Steele.
Yeah, they probably should have done that, but they didn't. Oh, well. I don't mind it just from a cultural standpoint. In terms of St Kilda, we were talking about them. Now adding De Koning, Salvani, Flanders and Liam Ryan. That's a pretty good move for them this year.
They're active. They're throwing everything at the wall. Does this? I think they obviously get a little bit better. Does this push them into true contention? Remains to be seen. De Koning at his best, and I liked him. Unfortunately, though, when he's getting at his best, getting 20, 25 touches, you're having 15 clangers. With the way the game's going, if it becomes deliberate out the last touch rule, You're paying 1.7 for a guy who's never finished top 10 in the BNF. He's injured a lot. The guy's never kicked double figures. So please tell me they are paying so much overs for him, and how's it going to work now that they've got Marshall? How does that work? Jack Silvani, good player, plays 12 games a year. So well done, awesome. Well done paying him $900K. You're just awesome. They got Flanders, which I think was really good, and Liam Ryan's a very good player. This remains to be seen. I remember, I think it was like 2003, Carlton picked up Scotland, Nick Stevens, and we thought we added all these players. Remains to be seen if this actually is just throwing names onto a list and money at the wall. Is there a foundation to this? Does this take them into a top 4 spot?
I think I look at
What do you think?
I look at St Kilda, and it's not what they brought in; it's what they were able to hold.
Okay.
Because you look at Tom De Koning. I mean, Tom De Koning comes in, Marshall looks to leave. Now, what's the net benefit difference between a De Koning and a Marshall? Marginally, right? But now Marshall
$800,000 apparently.
No, ignore the money side.
Yeah.
I'm actually talking in terms of contribution on field.
Oh, Marshall's worth more.
Now, like Jack Silvani, we know they overpaid for him and also De Koning. But what did that do with Cal Wilkie? Like, he was looking at his options. Windhager was looking at his options. So they could have really brought in De Koning, Silvani, Flanders, Liam Ryan, but lost Marshall, Windhager, Wilkie, but they didn't. So I think...
So you say that you see this as a big positive.
So Saints have definitely overpaid, and struggling clubs typically have to overpay to attract.
They need some hope, don't they?
Will it work? Look, I don't see it's going to work for them to win a flag. Will they be more competitive? 100%.
They're a big what if. Well, it'd be interesting to see how this works.
And they've got an absolute X-class player in Milera. I think he'll be probably arguably the best player in the game next year.
If he's not already. Yeah, I think,
Well,
like I said...
You think with Milera, he was half back and then moved into the midfield, and that midfield forward role, like, you get a full year in that position.
But don't tell me on him. He's good. St Kilda, yeah, like they're obviously going to improve. They are the big what if because they've been super active. It's going to be cool to see.
It'll be interesting to see how far they go in finals next
I'll
year.
give St Kilda, they always beat Geelong at Marvel Stadium.
Saints are pretty good at Marvel.
Yeah, do you know
You'd
what?
hope so.
They're elite. When Saints are up and about, their crowd at Marvel really get behind them. They play enough games there.
Bit of love for St Kilda today. I like it.
They're definitely a mover for me into the 8 next year.
Which recruit do we think was the best from a cultural fit standpoint? Because there was a lot of star power moving
Jamara.
around.
From a cultural standpoint, so I think Starčević to West Coast, I think he's going to bring a level of professionalism to West Coast, to a side who's really been in the arse end of the ladder for 6-7 years. I think he's won 2 flags. He's chosen to go there. He's wanted to go there, which means he knows this isn't going to, he's going to, for a guy to have it on an easy streak and in winning flags, to choose to go there, he's clearly doing it so he can live. That's where he wants to live. You are going to get a guy he knows they're not going to be good. He's just going to, sort of like Ellis did for Gold Coast from Richmond. He's not there they're not going to make the 8 or anything. He's going to set the standards for the next generation of West Coast.
Yeah, I think, look, that's a good one. Petrarca for me.
Yeah, that's huge.
I mean, you look at where Gold Coast are in terms of their overall development and the age group profile of that group. He just comes in and, he's a premiership player, Norm Smith medalist. He's the one that could really help Hardwick and Gold Coast compete for that flag.
Now,
That's a good one.
That's a very good one. Which clubs do we reckon are going to now rely on the 2025 draft that didn't make as many moves? I mean, I've probably answered my own question. I reckon it's Bombers.
Well, Carlton have 2 picks. I mean, yeah, I think you'd have to look at all the. I'd have to look at all the picks, to be honest with you. I don't.
Well, I mean, North, West Coast get the 1-2. I think Richmond 3 at 4.
Yeah.
So Richmond, they did well in the draft last year, so they're just going to continue to add to their depth.
Melbourne 7 and 8. They're doing a full cleanse, but obviously by the looks of it, they've added Mycheck. I think Melbourne are almost trying not to bottom out, but sort of try to do a half rejuvenation, half rebuild.
Yeah, I mean Melbourne. I thought Melbourne's, bringing in CJ from Hawthorn's a great win.
I don't agree with that whatsoever. He was Giath.
Yeah.
He was the worst player against Adelaide in the finals, and Adelaide players were on the ground. That guy has no awareness or pace for the game.
Yeah, I think, look, CJ to me is a player that you want to put behind the footy and across half back. I mean,
how's he going to go with with the pressure? He was struggling in that pressure, in a good side, and you could tell the difference between everyone else in a final. He's going to struggle at Melbourne big time.
When you're playing footy and you don't have the full support of your coach and you're not in the best 22 and you're constantly a sub, it makes it really difficult. Steve King, he comes in now. He's got he's 100% starts. He's not on the interchange. He's in there starting 18. CJ's got all the capabilities. The game's turned into more pace on the outside. He played his best footy behind the footy across half back. I think that's a win. Jack Still and Mycheck will add, up front. They've got 2 picks inside 10 as well. So,
and they're clearing out. They're clearing out a lot. I think Petrarca and Oliver have dictated. Not so much. Not for. I think Oliver's been in the wrong. Not so much Petrarca, but they have headlined this club for 2 years. Are they going or not? They've bring in Stephen King, who's got a great experience at Geelong. He's seen how the sausage made, at an elite club. I think this is good for Melbourne. Yeah, they might have short-term pain, but I think they're going to be better for it.
They're not going to be in contention for the 8.
No, not at all.
But they're on the right track, and Matty Scarlett's joining.
That's a good move.
Yeah.
That's a good move.
So, Steve King, Matty Scarlett.
Didn't hear that.
You watch what Steve King does.
The professionalism of that side is going to go from here to there. Yep, that's huge.
Level.
Speaking of moves on the coaching, you guys would be happy. Buckley giving his farm.
Trojan horse.
Did you see that?
I agree. I think when you look at it on surface, it's like, oh, great. I mean, Bucks is well respected. He knows his footy, but it's really dangerous.
Well, they've admitted it. They've almost admitted it. So he was asked on air because he had to clear it with Brendan Gale. With Tassie, he hasn't been officially announced as Tassie yet, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's Tassie.
So he asked him, does this ruin anything? Sort of, what are your thoughts? Or do you see this as advantageous? It's advantageous because you're going to go to. Buckley's always been at Collingwood, so he's very much Collingwood. To go to an elite club like Geelong, see how that runs, I think it's, and what I heard, it's Chris Scott's idea. I think they know why he's going there. I think it's not even a Trojan horse. I think everyone knows he's going there to learn.
Do you know what? Look, on 2 fronts, we know Buckley's in line for Tassie, and he's certainly going to add over the next 3 years, and he's going to learn what a good club is all about with Geelong, and he's done the same with Collingwood. But the risk to the players, I mean, Tassie are going to have a huge budget behind them. Now we know they're going to grab Nick Dacos out of Collingwood. You think what Gold Coast?
Yeah, 100%.
You think what Gold Coast did to Gary Ablett?
Yeah.
Oh, and there's clear grumblings with the Dacos family in Collingwood. He's definitely got. I reckon he's gone.
Not winning the BNF.
He might win 8 awards at Collingwood's next best and fairest. They'll just rig it for him
just to make sure. And Josh will be second.
Yep.
But going back to that, I just think it does expose an element of risk to Geelong. Max Holmes, and what about the players that are borderlining and developing, that he can potentially bring across. So that's a bit risky. On the other foot, Chris Scott, Josh, signed up for 3 years. Is Buckley in line for the next coach?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I think potentially Bucks could be Geelong's next coach.
Why Why haven't I even thought about that? Because that's you join a club so you can potentially
Level up.
Shit.
So like Chris Scott, he started in 2011. So this is coming up to his 15th year. He's got 17 years coaching.
He probably wants to take a step back.
At some point, he's got to come to an end.
Yeah.
Now, does Buckley really? And you think about the challenges.
Do you like that?
Yeah. Look, I like Buckley. I do like Buckley. I think Buckley, when he first started as a coach, no. But he developed more of a personal connection later in his career.
We know about his knowledge of the game tactically, and his work ethic. He's going to be. No one's doubting that. No. How is that personality going to do? Because Bailey Smith. So Buckley, my biggest thing with him is he had one of the youngest. He took over one of the youngest premiership sides ever and gutted the actual core of it. So someone like Bailey Smith would be. He wouldn't be recruited under Buckley, almost.
But I think Buckley's learned a lot. I think, like I said just before, Buckley, when he first started, it was his way or the highway, wasn't it?
And it was like that apparently as a player.
And as a player, you could tell like Buckley wasn't the type of person that when you play footy, like players want to play for their coach. Now, did Buckley have that when he first started? No, but I genuinely thought he got that out of his players later in his career. So, look, he's definitely learned, but it's going to be interesting to see, could he be Geelong's next coach? Possibly.
Interesting.
Why would you go to Tassie and try and build something for 5 years?
Well, think about it.
There's
as well.
something called
Tassie. He's going to live over in Tasmania versus he's city bound. That's why Geelong's a great move for him logically. Geelong, anyway, we could get talking about.
There's a thing called money.
Well, he's probably got 20 acres somewhere in Geelong.
What is it, Frank Costa? Just hook a brother up.
The agricultural trust farm.
Do you know what? Just on that, and it does annoy me because like you look at you
Are you crying wolf about Geelong? Is that what
that Dan does footy, whatever. He constantly cries about Geelong. Who have we recruited? Jeremy Cameron, Patrick Dangerfield, and Bailey Smith. Who Bailey was a big risk. Outside of that, like you look at 18 out of our 22 players, they're all been either picked up through the draft, traded in, or on the rookie. Like we don't overpay for players and. They just want to come to us, but we don't genuinely have.
Yeah, you just picked up Warple.
Look, he's
not a big.
He's a B grade midfielder.
We're not.
But yeah, it's interesting. That Dan does footy. He annoys me.
I think he's hilarious.
I think he's good.
I think he's great. And the and you've breached the salary cap like 3 times in 5 under the Scott era. Carlton got absolutely penalised for it. Good work on your trusts.
We won the 95 flag on that.
Yeah, but we've got penalised and we got absolutely rorted.
But the thing is, Geelong didn't breach the salary cap. It was some other incentives, accommodation, etc. Like it's.
What, cotton on or
like third-party payments?
If you genuinely...
You're Mad Monday.
You didn't register for GST. You and your agricultural
I could go through every 18 players and you tell me what money they're on in Geelong.
Like 44 acres is what they're on and $120,000.
It's because they... Yeah. What's one trade that... there was one that I didn't see, Calamachi. And they've come out and they've said that he's definitely not going to be playing at Brizzy because that was like the first one we thought was done and dusted.
I thought it was done. So I thought that was done straight away. It didn't even... it was one of those things that... Because Brisbane, even at their best and fairest, farewelled. So I assumed that one was to kick the trade week off. A big move. I think it was a mutual thing that he's been a good servant of the club. What did happen there?
They just didn't agree to the trade.
But he goes because he's not in contract, so does he just go to a preseason? He just go to the preseason draft?
So he'll go through the preseason. So and then the dollar amount will scare off. So he'll find his way to Adelaide.
And what was the most surprising out of all the trades that happened for 2025? What was the most surprising for you guys?
It's interesting. There wasn't really. I didn't think anything was crazy surprising. Like he sort of everything's so publicized now, and they're talking about it on social media all the time. You kind of knew where the negotiations were going.
For me, it's Jack Steele. I just don't know why St Kilda, and I think St Kilda have done a good job in keeping their players and recruiting, but Jack Steele being their captain, he's a very good player. So is there something we just don't know about Jack Steele? I feel that's a big surprise to me.
Well, Jai Simpkin was another one that was floated for North, their captain. It sounds like everyone wanted to get rid of their captain from the bottom end, in the bottom eight.
Well, I think North
they're in all sorts.
God damn, they need to improve this year.
I mean, you look at the players they traded in last year,
Okay,
Daniels, Darling, like you just look at the players they've actually brought in. Parker. Why would you even, there's an element of bringing experience into a younger squad.
I think Parker's actually been okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Parker's been good, but try and get your 6 to 28-year-olds, not your, 30 to 33.
But the thing is, if you actually look, they seem young because it's the media narrative. They put games played against other clubs. They're actually very experienced together now. Before that, who do you reckon was who was the biggest loser who didn't gain anything? Because I thought Adelaide at one point were going to get Petrarca or Oliver and really build the midfield.
They got nothing.
They got nothing.
Adelaide, for me, you're right, John. They needed, one or the two out of Track and Oliver.
They could have made it work with Oliver.
They could have grabbed both of them, and imagine them two with Jordan Dawson, Saligo in there. I mean, and that's their weak link. That's their weak link.
Well, like Hawthorn, they needed it.
They just needed the additional strength through that midfield. So they just did not participate at all. And then obviously, they will get Archies, but we know Archies are forward.
And they've already got a forward line.
And their forward line is potent.
They're fine. Collingwood lose Myercheck, so what? The Pies, they've gone backwards for me as well. And I think there's rumblings at the club. I know we say this every year about Sidebottom and Pendlebury. They're that year older. I think Collingwood, I don't think they were very good during this trade period, and they lost another avenue to go.
Collingwood, they're in a bit of trouble. And I think Hawthorn are the biggest losers.
Yeah, not getting that. Losing Warple. Yeah.
The losing Warple and CJ, these are genuine list players. And with the expectations of at least Merritt coming in, I think Cam McKenzie's going to be that next developing mid. He's an absolute star. But Hawthorn, geez.
Do we think, because we spoke about the Carlton perspective, I think it's a win-win for Sydney, even though they've lost a couple of depth players. I think with the injuries they've got, Gordon being out for a lot of last year. I think Curnow on small SCG. I think Sydney become an immediate player again, whether they win the flag or not. What do you guys think of Sydney? I think Sydney, I think it's one of the trades where, they probably paid a little bit overs, but I think it's a win-win type of trade.
Yeah, I think with Sydney, Gordon, missed pretty much.
Imagine Curnow getting delivery from Gordon.
They were a lot better in the back end of the year, Sydney. I know.
Yeah. Once they got their structure back.
Yeah, and
Heaney's still good. Heaney's a star.
Oh, Heaney's an absolute star. Warner, Gordon came back in. Gordon's a big one, with Curnow. It's a good get. And to be honest, like Florent and Haywood, they're just average players. I think you can replace them.
They're definitely replaceable. I think it does hurt to a little bit of their depth, but I think they've got the players coming back now. And Curnow on the small SCG with actual delivery. This is the thing. Carlton's fans cannot just look at because if he's fully fit, he could kick 70, 80 goals next year. That doesn't mean we lost. Both teams can win out of this.
I think it's the right call by Carlton.
Yep.
And Curnow is something that Sydney need now.
And it's It's business. Their business model.
Sydney made a grand final the year before. It's they get Curnow, and if they're fit, they'll be. I think they move back in.
Correct.
I think Gold Coast are now strongly in contention to go deeper into the final series. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. What I would love to know, if you had a magic wand or you had the phone direct to the CEO of the AFL and you could pick any player to add into your team, please drop it in the comments. We will be doing the same. Thank you so much for watching. guys, we're going to like, subscribe, and
Ring the bell.
see you guys in the next one.